As a content creator on a budget, I'm always on the lookout for new pieces of gear to take my setup to the next level without breaking the bank. Today we are looking at the Rode Podmic, and I won't bury the lead. This is the single best microphone I've ever reviewed under $100 or rupees 7500 in India, and is my new gold standard for budget recording, podcasting and streaming mics. If you're in the market for a new microphone, this is a product you just can't afford to miss. Hi everyone, it's Kalyan Kumar here and welcome back to another video in product review. In this channel, I do tech gear reviews and other times I do tutorial reviews on the latest apps and software that make your productivity efficient. So if you're new here, please do consider subscribing. Just a quick note that I've added timestamps to this video. So if you are only interested in certain aspects of the product, you can jump to that section right away. As a disclaimer though, I have bought this product with my own funds and it is not a review product. All the opinions you're about to hear are my own. No one is sponsoring this video and no one is reviewing this before it is uploaded. With all of that out of the way, let's roll the intro. The Rode Podmic comes to market at $99 or rupees 7,500 INR and is one of the very few options targeted at streamers, video creators, podcasters and even radio show hosts that use a dynamic capsule. That's important because for many of us, a dynamic microphone is simply going to be a better fit than a condenser microphone. Now, if all of that sounds like gibberish to you, allow me to explain. Condenser microphones are considered the most versatile studio microphones and can be used to record essentially any instrument. They are somewhat more fragile and sonically sensitive than dynamic mics, and they require a small electrical current to operate, called phantom power. So they are less popular in the live setting. Now most of the desktop microphones, especially the USB varieties, are condenser microphones. Now, dynamic microphones will be the most familiar model to most music fans. They are the vocal mics you see at the front of the stage at most rock concerts. Audio engineers value them for being rugged and able to handle extremely high tone volumes. They're great for recording louder sound sources because they are very directional and are great for rejecting noise outside of the mic's recording space, or called the polar pattern. You've probably already seen a dynamic mic without realizing it. They are the most common mics used in stage performances, which is why you don't hear the sound of the crowd coming through their mics. Now, unless you're recording in a quiet, extremely well sound treated environment, there's a good chance a condenser mic isn't the best fit for you. Stop me if you've heard this one before. A streamer is using a mic like the Blue Yeti or the Quadcast and decides to type, sending every click of his mechanical keyboard right through the stream. Now, if you have used a condenser mic yourself, you know the balancing act of getting enough gain or volume without also piping through the sound of your computer fans or other background noise. Now, if you have anyone else active in the house, well, they may as well be your guest stars on your podcast. Condenser microphones are great, but they are so sensitive that they are just not a good fit for most streamers or podcasters. Condenser microphones are used in recording studios for singers and voiceover artists as they pick up a larger frequency of sounds, which for a home environment is not appropriate. And that's where the Rode Podmic comes in. The box shows the image of the mic and branding. The mic contains an internal pop filter, is broadcast quality, rugged build, and has a 2-year warranty. Opening the box reveals another box. Now opening the next box reveals the mic. The first thing you realize on lifting the mic is that it is extremely heavy. On loosening the screws, the swing bracket can be adjusted. And this is where you attach the mic to the stand. This is the XLR port. It has a metallic pop filter built into the mic. The mic itself weighs around 860 grams. The entire outer construction is metal. The mic sits in a swing, which is why no extra shock mount is required. The swing and screws to lock it in place are super sturdy when moving them about. Now you don't need to worry about any slippage mid-recording once you set them up. The box contents were sparse with the mic itself and a 6-picture panel setup guide. Now I was a bit disappointed that there was no pouch or sleeve for storage of the mic when not in use like other dynamic mics such as the Shure SM58. However, that is not a deal breaker. Now, it is important to understand that dynamic mics have extremely low gain or low output level. This means they are very quiet. To get decent recording levels, you might need to increase the gain or the volume level of your recording device. Now, this in turn causes a lot of hissing noise in your recording. To take care of this, you need a cloud lifter or a fathead, which are basically preamps or devices that increase the gain of your mic without introducing any hissing or noise. So you would need to connect the mic to the cloud lifter first. And then connect the cloud lifter to the recording device. But remember, the cloud lifter or fathead themselves require phantom power. Now, phantom power is a small amount of current that needs to be provided to an audio instrument for it to work. So make sure the recording device can output 48 volts of phantom power for the cloud lifter to work. Now let's check the sound quality. The first one I'm going to test is the Plosives Test. Now within a few days of using this, I realized that I needed an external pop filter, as many of the plosives are strong blasts of wind energy that come from the mouth of a speaker. They ruin the sound quality completely. So let me show this for you. Now here I go. Please bring pizza to Podmic pronto. See how they sound now? And see how they sound after I put an external pop filter. Please bring pizza to Podmic pronto. Now the built-in pop filter does work better at around the 6-inch or hang loose distance. And I noticed the popping had almost disappeared at this distance. Now let's check the noise floor. Noise floor is the ambient noise level measured in dB or decibels. Remember, in audio, the volume of sound is measured in decibels, with the highest being 0 dB, which is the ceiling of the audio that can be clearly heard, and sound levels lesser than that are measured at negative values. Now, any sound that goes above the 0 dB level is supposed to be clipped, which means you cannot hear it clearly at all. And lower decibel levels can definitely be heard. And lower the value of the decibel level, lower is the volume. For example, minus 48 dB will be louder than minus 60 dB. Now, noise floor measures the amount of noise generated by your workspace. We are not talking about a fan running or an AC blasting, but the noise which will be recorded when there is actually no sound being produced by you or anybody in your studio or outside. So these are vibrations produced by the room itself or the one produced by the environment. Now typically, it is regarded that anything around negative 60 dB is an accepted noise floor level. So let's check the noise floor level of my studio. Now as you can notice, the noise floor level initially looks almost zero because it's totally blank. But if you see the spectral lines, there are a bit of, the purple color which shows there is some kind of a background noise. So when I zoom in, you will notice that that flat line suddenly magnifies and I'm able to get a noise floor which is close to negative 60 dB. A little bit of the sound has gone above the minus 60 mark. That means it is somewhere in the range of minus 55 or minus 50. But I think that is quite an accepted limit. Now here, this is the actual direction of the mic. So when I start rotating it sideways, and you will notice that the off axis starts coming up. And this is right now the sound it's picking up at a 90-degree angle. And now let me move it further and the angle is increasing. And this is what it picks up at the back of the mic. It's 180 from my voice. Again, I bring it back to 90, and slowly as I bring it back to 90, again you will notice that the sound is increasing, and then I bring it right in front of my mouth. And that is how these dynamic mics work. So staying centered with the mic capsule will be crucial in maintaining a consistent and desirable tone with the pod mic. And in all the tests, remember, there is no processing involved. Now the built-in shock mount test. Now in this test, I'll be hitting the mic slightly with my hand. Can you tell when it happens? Well, the built-in shock mount for the Rode pod mic is impressive for a built-in shock mount. One of the better ones I've come across. For little oopsies, it should keep you fairly protected, but as anything in audio, a sturdy foundation technique is always the best. And now we come to the conclusion. The Rode pod mic is a decent contender in its price range. Great for someone starting out or who doesn't have the quietest of spaces. It's plug and play with an XLR interface, with nothing extra to install, besides of course the cloud lifter and the DAW, though it is recommended to be used with an external preamp like the Fathead or the cloud lifter to boost the signal a bit. If you don't want to get a foam sock or a pop filter, it works best at about 6 inches away with its built-in features. For the sound and value for money, this is the best budget, great sounding dynamic mic for home users. Mics have come a long way in this price range from yesteryear. The Rode Podmic is proof that you can still have a decent tone and performance from a budget-friendly mic. I give it 9.5 out of 10. Now that brings us to the end of this review. Give a thumbs up if you like it and subscribe if you like such videos, and do hit the bell icon for notifications. I'm Kalyan Kumar bidding you goodbye. Have a great day.